See, today we have to see the automatic payment program. So first, I will explain you the function of this automatic payment program. See, it is very, very important to see that the payments are made to vendors in time, because different vendors may give different credit periods. So based on their payment terms, you have to make the payments to vendors on the respective due dates, right? So if you don't make the payments to vendors in time, what happens? The vendors may impose the interest. So if you have to pay interest as per the payment terms, right, it is the burden on the profitability of the company. And sometimes the vendors may not impose any interest, but they will supply the inferior raw materials in the next time. So if you use the inferior raw materials in your production process, the quality of your finished products will disturb. This is even more dangerous to the credibility of the company, because if you sell the inferior quality of finished goods to your customers, you may have to lose the customers sometime. So it is even more dangerous to the credibility of the company. That's why in any case, it is very, very important to see that the payments are made to vendors in time, right? But we have 500 vendors, and for every vendor, there are different invoices due on different due dates. In that case, how can you know the due date of the invoices, right? That's why it's just impossible, right? That's why the SAP has developed some configuration settings. The FI consultant will configure these settings in the client company. Then the user who is responsible to make the payments to vendors, he executes the payment program every day, or once in 2 days, or once in 3 days, or even once in a week, according to the payment policy of the client company. Normally, this automatic payment program is executed every day. So when the automatic payment program is executed, then the system will identify only those vendors who have become due today, right? Suppose, for example, there are 1,000 vendors, right? So out of this 1,000 vendors, today only 200 vendors have become due. So the system will identify only these 200 vendors, okay? Then among these 200 vendors, the system also identify only those invoices which have become due today for every vendor. For example, out of these 200 vendors, one vendor is there, XYZ. So for this XYZ vendor, there are nearly 25 invoices due. But out of these 25 invoices, right, today only 10 invoices are due. Then the system will print the check only for these 10 invoices. Means when the system executes when the user executes the automatic payment program, the system will identify only those vendors who have become due today. And for every vendor, it will identify only those invoices which are to be paid today. And for those invoices, it will print the check, or it will do the bank transfer also. So in addition to printing the checks, the system also prints the payment advice. Payment advice means payment summary. Sorry, payment advice means covering letter. Like what? See, along with the check, we write one letter to the vendor saying that, respected sir, this is the check number so and so, drawn on so and so bank, dated so and so, and this is the payment towards the invoice number so and so, dated so and so. So please acknowledge the receipt. That's how we write one covering letter. That covering letter is called payment advice in the business terminology, right? So that payment advice is also automatically printed by the system. In addition to this payment advice, the system also prints the payment summary. Payment summary means for every vendor, how much you have paid today, and for all the vendors together, how much you have paid today. This information is contained in the payment summary. So the payment summary is also automatically printed by the system. In addition to printing these checks, payment advice, and payment summary, the system automatically takes care of all the accounting functions. Like what? See, all the vendor due line items for which the checks have been printed or cleared automatically. Till now, what we are doing, when we make the payment to vendor, we are posting it in F-53 and we are clearing the open item manually, right? But when you make the payments to vendor through automatic payment program, right, it is not necessary to clear the payments manually. System automatically clears the open items. Then the vendor reconciliation accounts are updated. Then the bank accounts are updated automatically. The check register is updated automatically. So till now we are going to FCH5. There we are FCHI something, right? There we are updating the check register, but it's not necessary. So when the checks are printed through automatic payment program, the system automatically updates the check register. Then vendor account balances are updated and the payment documents are generated. Means the accounting entries are automatically posted. So all these 6 accounting functions are automatically taken care by the system when the automatic payment program is executed.
Sir, I am unable to see the screen here.
Check your internet. Nobody is complaining because I'm sharing the screen. See, the thing is, whenever you are not able to hear me or whenever you are not able to see my screen, first of all, you have to check your internet. And if the internet is perfect from your side, then only you have to ask me. Because there are many students in the class, no? So only you are complaining means there may be a problem for our internet side.
Sir, I can hear you properly. No any issue with your voice, yeah?
No, I don't know. I don't know how what I can say, tell you. Because others are able to see my screen and also they are able to hear me.
Okay, okay. I disconnect.
Do one thing, Afzal, log off and log in again.
Okay, all right, all right.
Log off from the meeting and log in again from the meeting.
All right, all right.
So all these accounting functions are automatically taken care. Now, you can make the payments to vendors through issue of the checks. Means the system can print the checks or we can also do the bank transfer. We can make the payments to vendors through bank transfers also, right? So this is the concept of automatic payment program. Clear? Now we will see. Here I am going to show you how to configure for the payment method check. Payment method means, see, we can configure different payment methods like check, bank transfer, wire transfer, RTGS, right, etc., etc. It's very, very flexible program. We can configure any type of payment method according to client requirement. Now, here I'm going to show you how to configure for the check payment method, right? So first of all, you have to set up the payment method at the country level of the company. Set up a payment method per country for payment transactions. Set up payment method per country for payment transactions. See, simple words, right? We have to set up the payment method, every payment method, not only check. So every payment method has to be set up at the country level of your company code. SPRO, financial accounting, account receivable and accounts payable, business transactions, outgoing payments, manual outgoing payments. Okay. Sorry. Outgoing payments, automatic outgoing payments. Payment method, bank selection for payment program. Set up payment method per country for payment transactions. And see the notes. Here, for the individual steps, there is no transaction codes, right? But there is one transaction code in which the entire automatic payment program can be configured. Once we complete all these steps, then I will show you what the transaction code, where we can configure all these steps, right? See the material. Click on position, give country IN. Means you have to give the country of your company code. Click on position. Country is equal to IN. and enter. So IN is already there and payment method C was already set up. Country IN, payment method C was already set up, right? So technically speaking, in your practice, you need not do anything. But in case, right, if you don't have the payment method check or C, then you have to create one. Click on new entries. So if you don't have the IN country line item, then click on new entries. Country is equal to IN. Payment method is equal to C. So system defined payment method is check. You can use any other identification also. Payment method is equal to C. Description is equal to payment method for India. Description is equal to payment method for India. Then payment method for outgoing payments. So this payment method can be used only for outgoing payments. Outgoing payments means payments to vendors. Then under payment method classification, select check. Select check. Then under posting details, document type for payment, KZ. I told you, the system automatically generates the payment documents. Payment documents means accounting entries. Once the payment is done to the vendor through automatic payment program, the system automatically generates the payment documents, right? So with which document type the payment document is to be generated? KZ, obviously, right? Then clearing document also KZ. Clearing document also KZ. So with which document type the clearing document is to be posted? With the document type KZ. Then payment medium program is equal to RFFOIS_C. Payment medium means check, right? So check program. This check program was already defined in the system. Click on save. See, it is giving one error. An entry already exists the same key because it was already defined. Now let us check the settings done in this payment program, in this payment method check. Select the check, click on details button. Outgoing payments check. Then document type for payment KZ, clearing document type KZ. Then payment medium program RFFOIS_C. Okay. Now double click on currencies allowed folder. Double click on currencies allowed folder. Now look at the screen. In this list, you enter those currencies that are permitted for this payment method. Leaving this table empty will mean that all currencies are permitted. So if you want to restrict this payment program to certain currencies, right, you can enter all those currencies here, right? But if you don't enter any currency, the system will allow all the currencies, right? Now click on save. Now look at the scheme. Here, under the posting details, sorry, not this one. See, under the posting details, right? In our training class, we have given the document type for payment KZ, clearing document type also KZ, right? But in the real time, we can use these two fields like this. ZP, document type for payment is ZP, then document type for payment ZV. See, document type for payment is ZP, clearing document type ZV. So what does it mean? What is the impact now, right? Here, see, listen to me carefully. We can make the payments to vendors in two ways. Number one, we can make the payments to vendors through issuing the checks manually. So when you issue the check manually to the vendor, what we do? We are entering the payment in F-53 and we are clearing the document, right? Then an accounting entry is posted with the KZ. Then we can also make the payments to vendors through automatic payment program. We can make the payments to vendors through checks which are printed through automatic payment program. So when the check is printed in the automatic payment program, what happens? The system also posts the accounting entry automatically. Then in that case, if you enter the ZP here, the system will post the payment document with the document type ZP. Then if the user notices the document type is KZ, he can understand that that payment is done manually. If he notices the document type is ZP, then he can understand that that payment is done through automatic payment program. So if you want to differentiate the accounting entries between manual accounting entries or system accounting entries, then we can use the different document type here. But if you want to use the document type ZP, right, you have to define the number ranges in OBS 7. See, ZP. See, number range number 20. So if you want to use the ZP in the automatic payment program, we have to define the number ranges for ZP and ZV in transaction code OBS 7, right? Next. Look at the screen here. Under the required master required specifications, right? Do one thing here, some space is there, no? Write one vertical line here. Put heading. Required master data specifications. Required master data specifications. In the payment method /country. In the payment method /country. Under that, put heading street, comma, PO box or PO box PST code or PO box PST code. If the checkbox is selected, if this checkbox is selected, if this checkbox is selected, then the system will select, only those vendors in whose master record, only those vendors in whose master record the street name and the post box number, is maintained. Normally, this checkbox is selected. This checkbox is selected in the case of check payment method. In the case of check payment method. Means, say for example, right, one vendor is there and for him invoice are there, right? Due invoice are there. But in his master record, address is not maintained. Street name and post box number is not maintained, right? In that case, system will not send that vendor into automatic payment. In order to send the check, right, we need the address, right? We need the street name, PO box number. So if the address is not maintained in the vendor master record, even though there are overdue invoices or due invoices, system will not send the vendor into automatic payment, right? So normally this checkbox is selected in the case of check payment method, right? Next, number 2, bank details. Number 2, bank details. If this indicator is selected, the system will select only those vendors. The system will select only those vendors in whose master records the bank details are maintained. The bank details are maintained. The bank details are maintained. Normally, this checkbox is selected. Normally, this checkbox is selected in the case of bank transfer payment method. In the case of bank transfer payment method. See, here, if you want to send the check, if you want to make the payment to vendor through bank transfer, we need the bank details of the vendor, right? That's why these bank details are to be maintained in the vendor master record under the general data segment, right? Just then suppose if you select bank details, which bank details you want to maintain? Account number required, IBAN required, just like IBAN is nothing but a international bank account number. Then SWIFT code is required. So whatever the details you want to maintain, you select those details, right? So this is selected only in the case of bank transfer, right? Now here I am keeping document for payment KZ and also clearing document type also KZ. If you try to use the ZP and ZV, right, you have to maintain the number ranges for ZP and ZV again. Then set up payment method per company code for payment transactions. This step will nearly take 1 hour, right? So this we will see tomorrow, right? And tomorrow we don't have the class. On Dasara festival, we don't have the class tomorrow, right? Again, we have the class on Thursday. Okay, then see you on Thursday.
Lakshman sir, one